Hi guys, this is Eric Chevallet with Bearing Point, and today you're listening to 5 Minutes Ahead. So today I have the pleasure to have with me Fabien Barati.
Yes, hello.
So Fabien, can you maybe introduce yourself?
Sure. So I'm, as you said, the co-founder and CEO of Emissive. This is a company I founded with Emmanuel, my partner, in 2005. So it's been 18 years this year. And we specialize in creating immersive experiences, meaning that we use virtual reality mostly and also augmented reality to create experiences for companies, for events, for training, but also for museums in terms of cultural mediation. And now we're focusing in a specific format that we call the Immersive Expeditions, that is really focused on a more general public, and which is a unique kind of experience.
Okay. So 2005, I didn't have that in mind. So can you tell us a little bit how you come into the immersive world back in 2005 and how it looked like back then?
So in 2005, I was almost out of the school. I did some freelancing before creating Emissive. But in that specific school, I learned 3D, but real-time 3D, which is an important difference. Real-time 3D for not only for games, but for other purposes as well, other use cases. And so this is still what we're doing right now. We use real-time 3D to do any kind of experience. Real-time 3D is basically what we use in all the video games. We use real-time 3D engine to create those games, but those 3D engines can also be used for other use cases. And so we started to develop those use cases to answer the needs of different clients at the time, for training or for communication. So if I'm talking only about virtual reality, we did some virtual reality project in 2005, but it was quite different. There was no cheap and qualitative virtual reality headset at the time. It was huge, expensive devices, but still, it was a first step into this world, really, and we got a lot of experiences from there.
Okay, but so just for me to understand, what do you mean exactly by real-time 3D? So I understand that it was not wearing a VR headset. So how did it look like?
So with the real-time 3D, you can do many things, and virtual reality is one of those things. So at the moment when you wear a virtual reality headset and you have a virtual reality experience, it uses a real-time 3D engine. So we used those engines back in the time as well to create VR experiences. So with a headset or in a cave. A cave is a virtual reality environment where you are in a room with projection everywhere, but those projections are calculated in real time, depending on your own position. So you have exactly the same feeling as wearing a headset, but it's only for one person, and it takes a lot of space and money. So at the time, big companies, we worked with big companies because they could afford to install caves.
To have that kind of setup.
Yes.
Okay, and who were your client at the time?
So we worked a lot with Dassault System, for example.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, and also with different brands, luxury brands. We're still working a lot with luxury brands, but also industrial companies who wanted to train their employees in a new way, let's say a different way, maybe a more effective way in certain aspects. So this was the kind of clients we worked with at the time.
Okay, so that's very impressive because I'm trying to remember what I was doing in 2005 and the kind of technology I was using, and for sure I was far from VR back then. So you're starting with training and I'm assuming talking about Dassault, probably a digital twin as well or things like this. But what made you come to Immersive Expedition, right? Oh, yeah.
Yes. So we were doing, like I said, training and communication experiences, but we were also doing cultural experiences, what we call cultural mediation experiences that you could find in museums or in other venues, and so. And actually, the first experience we created was for Château de Versailles in 2005. And so we always had this like cultural, educational aspect in our DNA. And so this is something we wanted to develop in our new content, in the content we create as producer inside the Immersive Expeditions. And Immersive Expeditions are both, of course, content, but it's also a technology we've been developing for years now that allows to manage a lot of people in dedicated space. And so maybe I can talk about that a bit later, but what brought us to the Immersive Expedition format is both our love for culture and knowledge, and also our love for virtual reality and what you can do with virtual reality.
Okay, so before we come to the current Immersive Expedition, can you describe the key milestone, I would say, you go through from a technology standpoint over that 15, almost 20, 18 years period of time? You mentioned it earlier. What were the I will say the key milestone or the key breakthrough from a technological standpoint?
So the base of our knowledge in the creation of experiences has always been the same. So creating 3D environment, characters, animations, it's still the same. There are still the same constraints. There are more possibilities brought by the new graphic cards and so on, but it's still the same skills that we use to create our experiences. The big breakthrough, I would say, more for the development of the technology, was of course when the Oculus Rift was released, because it brought virtual reality for I mean it made it, I wouldn't say mainstream, but like it made it affordable and qualitative at the same time. And so it was a very big step for the technology at the time.
And when you mean affordable, you mean by the each individual, by the public, and not so much by corporate anymore.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah. And okay, so tell us a little bit more about those immersive experience, because I saw some of them, but I'd like to hear from you where you stand and if you can describe a little bit what it means and how it works.
Sure. So the immersive expeditions, they are location-based experiences. So that means that they are. If you want to experience them, you need to go to a dedicated venue. And what you can find in those venues is a 45-minute experience in which you're going to wear a headset, so it's fully immersive. You're going to be able to move freely inside a very large space, so more than 500 square meters. And you can do that with other people. So usually you come with friends or family or colleagues, and you see each other, you communicate with each other, you interact with each other, and you do that during the whole adventure. And what you can see inside, I will give you the example of the 2 immersive expeditions that have been released since last year. The first one was Eternal Notre Dame, and in this one you start in the Middle Age in the center of Paris, and you see the Cathedral Notre Dame being constructed, being built. You will meet some characters that will tell you about the construction, about the history, about the purpose of the cathedral, and you're going to visit it like in real life, but in a different time. So you're going to see a lot of things that you cannot see nowadays. You're going to access areas that don't longer exist inside the cathedral, but also areas that are close to the public. For example, the top of the tower or the inside of the bell tower of the cathedral. You can see it as if you were there inside Eternal Notre Dame. It's currently in operation in Paris. It's been in operation for now a year and a half, and it's going to open very soon in Taiwan. And the second title, the second immersive expedition, is called Horizon of Khufu. And this one is about the Great Pyramid of Giza, the Pyramid of Khufu, that you can discover in like a present time, but you will have access also to rooms and corridors and areas of the pyramid that you cannot access in real time. And also you will travel back in time 4,500 years ago to see the pyramid in its original context, with the temples around and so on, all reconstructed with the help of an Egyptologist. And actually, all our immersive expeditions are, we work with scientists, with historians to recreate everything, because it's important for us that everything is right in terms of knowledge that we share with the public. So it's really educational, but at the same time it's an adventure. So there is a big work on the storytelling. You meet a lot of different characters, and so you have a lot of emotion, a lot of sensation, and at the same time it's a lot of education. So we try to bring all those things inside the immersive expedition.
But that I haven't seen the last one with the pyramids, but I've been a couple of times already to visit Notre Dame, and it's true that the ability to travel through the years, because it starts in 1400 something, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
And so you see how it's constructed at the time. You see how, I mean, you're basically walking in Paris in the Middle Age, and you're seeing how the cathedral is built, and that's quite impressive. And the fact that you do it immersively, and I was just amazed by how they did it at the time. So how long does it take to build something like Eternal Notre Dame? What's the work behind? I understand that you go through the history with the historian, but basically how long does it take?
Yeah, so each title takes around a year and a half to create, with a lot of what we say pre-production work So working with the experts and trying to build a coherent scenario and to project ourselves in the actual experience with the different scenes, the staging, the characters, everything. So we try to build all of this. To imagine all of this during maybe 6 months, and then we have a year to create it for real. So it takes a year and a half to create one title, one immersive expedition.
Okay, and within Emissive, so you're doing the storytelling, you're basically doing the script, the development, and everything from end to end, or you subcontract some of this work? And I'm thinking of the storytelling mainly.
Yeah, so we do everything in-house. Mostly everything, because there are some specific things like we need actors, or sometimes we need just a little more help in a certain areas, because we are 50 people, but sometimes it's not enough to create those big productions. But storytelling is done in-house, even if we also hire writers for to also help us in some ways. So all the content, I would say, is done in-house by our team. So we have all the skills to create an immersive expedition from A to Z. And we also have, of course, a team of development, because the creation of the content is one thing, but there is also the technology behind. This is obviously very, very important. And we also have a dedicated team of developers who work on this platform, of this operational platform.
Okay. And so a year and a half, and you're using the word production a lot, and when I'm listening to you, Fabien, it sounds like basically a movie that you're making. It's just that instead of going through a movie theater, you're going through a dedicated site and wearing VR headset. Is it correct to say there is some similitude in the production aspect?
Yes, it's the production and even the distribution and operation is, and overall the business model is close to to cinema.
Okay.
Yes, so it's like at the moment it's like we've been like in the movies a century ago, when it was growing and developing, and we are at this current state at the moment with the immersive expeditions. But yes, the production of a title is like a movie. So we are finding co-producers to create this content, but it's also an investment, because of course every co-producer wants to get a share of the revenue in the end, and it's also the same for the distribution part of those titles and the operation of those titles. So that means that at the moment we are creating a network of venues capable of operating those immersive expeditions, and venues that will be able to receive regularly new immersive expeditions, exactly like a movie theater having different movies.
Okay. And so you mentioned that you were present in France and in Asia. What are your next location? What is your plan in terms of expansion abroad?
So right now we have 3 venues operated in France, 1 in China, 1 will be open in Taiwan in a month. And more are going to be open in France in the rest of the year, but also in the UK, in the US. We have a lot of of launch that are planned for the rest of the year, and of course for next year. So those venues will open with our current titles, which are Eternal Notre Dame and Horizon of Khufu. But there will be also new titles coming. The next one actually launches in October. It's a co-production with the Museum of Natural History of Paris, and this time it's a travel back in time billions of years ago to understand life and the development of life. So we'll meet a lot of different species through time, and it's going to be quite an adventure. So this will be the next immersive expedition, and yeah, I mean, we can see that those titles can have a long life. So as I said before, Eternal Notre Dame is been operated for a year and a half, and Eternal Notre Dame is a production from Orange, operated by Amaclio in France, and it's really a success.
How many visitors do you have to date to Eternal Notre Dame?
So, do you know? For Eternal Notre Dame, it's a bit harder for me to say, because it's Orange who owns the title and so every I would say information about it. But for Horizon of Khufu, because we own the title at Emissive, it's easier for us to say. And I think we are around now 150,000 visitors since the launch a year ago in Paris.
A year ago it was already? And 150,000 on 2 sites, right?
Actually, it was only one site from June to October last year in Paris. In October, it opened in Lyon. It's still in Lyon, and it opened in Shanghai in May. So it's only, I would say, only one venue, and now it's 2 venues that are operating Horizon of Khufu, and soon there will be way more.
Okay. And when is Horizon on Khufu coming back to Paris then?
It should be in Paris end of the year.
Okay. Which is already quite impressive. Do you see differences in terms of participation and visitors when you are in France versus when you are in Shanghai? Or do we all behave the same versus that kind of experience, or are there specificities?
I would say it's very similar. I don't see really a difference. It attracts a very large audience. So in terms of ages, but so you can see, of course, young people, but also older people who come as a family or friends. You can see couples, colleagues, or people alone. It's really large, very large in terms of audience. Mm-hmm. So that's interesting to see. And also, I mean, I don't see really a difference between the public in Shanghai and the public in France, which is always a good surprise. So, yeah, we are very happy about that.
Okay. Good. Excellent. So what are next for you, Fabien and Emissive? Do you have any new title in the pipe, or because I guess you're busy opening several sites now, but do you have time for future productions?
Sure. We aim to launch at least 2 new productions every year. So this year there will be only one new, which is the one we are creating with the Museum of Natural History, and that will be launched in October. But early next year there is a new immersive expedition. This one more about fine arts in a very famous Parisian museum. I cannot say yet, I think. But there are a lot of very, very interesting topics to develop and to produce with this format of immersive expedition, because you really feel you are there. You really feel you are in this new world, and you see, for example, you see the pyramid of Khufu in the context, and that's very important to understand the monument, but also to understand the history, to understand the people who built it. So it's not something made to replace reality. It's really complementary with reality, and yes, we have a lot of new productions coming in the next years.
Okay, and what about opening new sites, new geographies, or you're gonna extend in China, US, Europe?
Yes, so we are hiring a lot at the moment to develop our deployment team, because there are a lot of new venues that are planned already in this next few months in 2023. There are 5 openings. So five, yes. So in different parts of the world, and next year it will be even bigger than that.
Well, Fabien, bravo, because I've been following what you were doing for a few years now, and I'm pretty impressed by the scale now you're achieving, and the production, and I can't wait to see the pyramids in Paris, because I missed that before they went to Lyon, and I'll be there to watch them for sure.
Great.
So, Fabien, thank you very much for the discussion, and good luck with the coming openings. And guys, I'll see you soon.
Thank you, Eric.
Thank you, Fabien. Bye-bye.
Bye.